arrested for protesting Hamas, the Iranian activist defying tyranny in the UK. In a deeply concerning incident that has sparked outrage over infringements on free speech and free expression, Iranian activist Niyak Ghorbani was subjected to a brutal arrest by London's Metropolitan Police for simply holding a placard reading Hamas is a terrorist during a pro-Palestinian protest on March 9th. Disturbing footage shows the 38-year-old activist, who has lived in the UK for 2.5 years after fleeing repression in Iran, being swarmed by an irate mob of protesters who attempted to grab his sign while chanting "Free Palestine" and "Shame on you" at him. The confrontation quickly descended into violence, with Ghorbani being shoved by protesters before trying to leave the heated situation. However, multiple Metropolitan officers cornered him, with one officer caught on camera crumpling his "Hamas is a terrorist" banner to the cheers of the pro-Palestinian crowd. Despite Ghorbani's insistence that his intent was to, quote, show the British public that the protesters are supporting Hamas and not the Palestinian civilians in Gaza, he was arrested, with the activist alleging to the Jerusalem Post that, quote, the police injured his hands and back, stating, quote, instead of apologizing, the police issued a statement full of lies and played with my dignity. It's shameful. The police's official statement claimed Ghorbani was detained for assault to prevent a breach of peace, but Jonathan Turner, an executive director for pro-Israel lawyers, condemned it as a brutal false arrest, arguing, quote, the police appear to have committed criminal offenses of assault and false imprisonment by wrongfully detaining the peaceful activist following his while allowing his assailants to actually go free. So let me provide a little bit of context on this. And Armin, please bring forward the things that I put in the show notes. So basically,
which one first? The video?
No, the link to the image. So here's the thing. This guy has actually been arrested and for many times for his activism that he's been doing in London. So this story that we covered is a specific incident that happened on the 9th. But when I was looking into this, I was like, oh no, this dude has been going at it and he's been having several confrontations. This dude does not stop. By the way, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, if it's Niyak or Niyak. I think it's probably Niyak. Niyak, how do you think I pronounce the name, Armin? I don't have it in Persian. I know you need to see it written in Persian oftentimes.
I need to see it written in Persian, but I'm pretty sure it's not Niyak. I think it's Niyak.
Niyak. Okay. Yeah, no, because I was like, I hope it's not Niyak because that's going to be awkward.
Yeah.
Well, lovely Niyak Jun. He actually follows us on Twitter.
Oh.
I went to go look him up. I was like, oh shoot, Niyak, he already follows us. Oh, cool. So if you see this, Niyak, we love you. You're a badass. Keep on going, my friend. So anyways, Niyak has no chill. Niyak has been going at it. He doesn't take no for an answer because you know what? It's within his right to do it. And this is a picture of him at a protest that happened I think before the 9th. I'm not entirely sure, but this is a photo. And I just want to point out that the bar is in hell. The bar for standards, like our standards are so low, the bar is in hell because this sign that he's holding in the separate incident literally says, please don't attack me. Do you agree Hamas is a terrorist organization? Yes or yes. What level are we at in general? Because I was going to blame the UK. I will blame the UK in a second. But in general, we see this violence across the world at these protests. The bar is in hell when you literally put, please do not attack me, on your sign, exercising your free expression in the public space, and people still attack you. When what you have on your sign is a statement of fact. Because his whole thing, based on interviews written interviews I've read of his is he's like, all I want to do is point out the factual statement that Hamas is a designated terrorist organization in the United Kingdom. He's like, my sign, I literally just go and hold up a sign that is a statement of fact. That's his whole point. And this is how he is treated. And he keeps on talking about how it's so shocking to him that this is what he goes through in the United Kingdom because he literally had to like escape the deadly oppression of the Islamic Republic. And Iranians have to be some of the most backstabbed people in the West because they're screaming at the top of their lungs, like, guys, this is what's going on here. Guys, this is about more. Like, guys, this is, there's a whole dark octopus web here. And just like no one's listening. And talking about being backstabbed, we'll actually talk about that in the next news in the United Kingdom, where someone actually got stabbed. So what happened on this different incident that happened on the 9th was he had a sign that just said Hamas is a terrorist, and people started assaulting him over it. And the police arrested him for that. And then they later were like, oh no, we assaulted him for breach of the peace, blah, blah, blah. He didn't do anything unlawful. And it was so bad. There was such a big backlash to this in the United Kingdom, such a giant backlash to this in the United Kingdom, that the police de-arrested him. What the hell does it mean to de-arrest someone? You put him in handcuffs, shoved him on the pavement, and dragged him away. You can't undo that. Like, okay, maybe you're not going to press charges and take it off his record, blah, blah, blah. But the arrest happened. You can say we released him or whatever, but what does it mean? I don't know. Maybe that's like a UK term or something. I'm like, what the hell does it mean to de-arrest someone? Give me a break.
I think someone has a translation here. Here's the translation.
Yeah. So what happened was, in fact, maybe we have a okay, so Armin, if you scroll down in the article, by the
way, did you see the by the way, before I show that, did you guys see the way they assault him? Again, if this does not show you that the pro-Palestine actually means pro-Hamas, I don't know what tells you. You could be guaranteed to go into a pro-Palestine rally and say Hamas is a terrorist group and be attacked. You know, that show, like, isn't that proof that pro-Palestine actually means pro-Hamas? And look, he's not the one attacking people.
Point. This man is so smart. Niyak, you are so smart, because that's his entire point. If you are not supporting Hamas, you should have zero problem with this, because it's just a statement of fact.
And these are, and look at this. These are white Irish people, right? And they're trying to attack him physically just because he's saying Hamas is a terrorist group. Imagine if you live in Gaza and you've been under brainwashing and Islamization. If this guy here, who hasn't been radicalized in an environment like Gaza, wants to physically assault somebody who's simply saying Hamas is a terrorist group, imagine how much Jewish people, like, this person is not even Israeli, he's not even Jewish, right? And he's not
visibly Middle Eastern man.
Yes, and he's saying Hamas is a terrorist group. Imagine if all, like, the level of hate that exists against him. Imagine if I changed him to being a Jewish person, to an Israeli person, against people in Gaza. Imagine this is Zionism confirmed, by the way. Imagine the level of hate and desire for violence against you increases if the other side is not these Irish people, but Gazans, and you're a Israeli Jew. Do you see why we need Israel as a country? Do you see why Zionism is confirmed because of these attacks? But anyways, Look at,
Yeah.
like, this is a very good spot that he has, by the way, right behind the bars, so that when they want to attack him, he could just like move back. By the way, do you want to hear this with the audio? Should I put the audio on?
No, I want to talk about these other incidents that happened. So wait, what's important? Can you go to the news article and then
Okay,
scroll
let me
down?
see.
Because there's a
Yes,
statement by the Metropolitan Police that D included, our lovely volunteer editor D, who's the best. Everyone say thank you, D.
Thank you.
Okay, it's in blue. Keep
Thank you,
scrolling.
D.
Okay,
This
here
one.
we go. So the Metropolitan Police put out this statement over what happened on the 9th. And again, let's not forget that Niyak, he has no chill. He's still going at it, okay? He's been assaulted many, many times. This man don't care. He's still going for it. So this is about one specific incident. He's saying a video has been posted on X alleging officers arrested a man for having an anti-Hamas placard. This isn't accurate. He was arrested after an altercation was ongoing and the officers intervened to prevent a breach of the peace. He was arrested for assault. Officers then fully reviewed footage provided on the incident, and he was later de-arrested. The arrest was not made in relation to the placard. So they're saying it was not made because of the placard, but because he assaulted someone. And then they review the footage and realize that he did not assault anyone, that he was assaulted. They didn't arrest any of his assaulters.
Right.
They injured him during the arrest, and they're like, oopsies. And they were getting dragged through the mud over this statement. I was like, yes, get them.
So to summarize, we didn't arrest him for his sign. We arrested him because he assaulted somebody. And by the way, he didn't assault anybody.
But they don't say that he didn't assault anyone. They just kind of gloss over that fact.
We reviewed the footage and then we de-arrested him. So basically, he didn't assault anybody. That's what it means. By the way, use the footage.
Fucking embarrassing. So
nobody from the other side. By the way, you saw in the videos that I show you, the police was there, and nobody who's trying to assault him is being approached by the police to be arrested. Like let me
point out that footage that you showed is not the incident that happened on the 9th.
I know.
Okay.
I know.
At the video that happened on the 9th.
We reviewed that video on our show.
The assault on the Persian show?
Yeah. No. On the English, we had a review of that video because this guy is active for a while. We did a review of his work before.
Oh, hell yeah. So with the incident that did happen on the 9th, he was assaulted by like way more many people, like way more physically, right? He didn't have a fence between him so that he could protect himself. And this is video of an incident that happened like yesterday. So this man is still going at it. And they tried to arrest him again. This happened within the past like 24, 48 hours. And he put out a statement about this arrest that they attempted. Again, literally yesterday. Where he said, here's what he says about it. We showed him our signs, which read, Hamas is a terrorist organization. As we stood in front of him, let me skip forward. Eventually, police officers grabbed us both from behind and escorted us to the sidewalk, and they pinned us against the wall. One officer asked for my name and address, and I told him I am Niyak Ghorbani. The police officer said, provide your address. I told him, look around. They are filming me, and in this situation, I cannot put myself in danger by providing my address. After the response, the police arrested me. Meanwhile, one of the officers in a red cap approached the arresting officer and told him to release me. The arresting officer was confused and rejected the request, but the officer with the red cap insisted. The officer with the red cap again told the arresting officer to release me. He decided to release me as well as my friend. Later, my friend and I walked around the crowd with placards and reached the Iranian, Israeli, and British supporters who bravely stood up against the terrorist supporters. We stood there until the end of the march. At this stage, the police protected us well and even arrested some of those who declared their support for Hamas, although not all. So, shouts out to Niyak Ghorbani.
give me your address in front of all these people that want to hurt you. What the hell is wrong with
considering that less than 24 hours ago, an Iranian journalist was stabbed, and that's what I'm going to do my rant about.
Yes.
So we know that there's an active threat because the Islamic Republic is running up and down London trying to kill people, trying to kill Iranian dissidents. So the last thing that I wanted to bring into this is, so I read a piece on spikedonline.com about this. So and this writing summarizes it beautifully. So I just want to read this portion of this article. And this is an article from Fraser Myers called "Is It Illegal to Call Hamas Terrorists?" Because he summarizes it so perfectly. Here's from the article. Quote, "Far from upholding free speech, what the Met," that's how people will refer to the London police. "What the Met are essentially doing is trying to shield Hamas supporters from offense for fear of a volatile reaction. They are effectively protecting them from encountering criticism of their favorite Jew murdering terrorists. In other words, the Met are slowly turning London into a safe space for Islamist anti-Semites. If that sounds like an exaggeration, then just look at how, in the weeks after October 7th, posters of Israeli hostages were torn down by police officers, supposedly to calm community tensions, or how volunteers for the campaign against anti-Semitism were threatened for arrest with breach of a peace over a mobile billboard displaying images of the children who had been kidnapped by Hamas, drawing attention to Hamas's crimes, accurately describing Hamas as terrorists, is treated by the Met as somehow inflammatory and provocative. Of course, only the people who are actually angered by the facts about Jewish suffering or Islamist atrocities are deranged anti-Semites. This is who the Met now feels the need to take the knee to. The Met's capitulation to Hamas supporters is shameful and cowardly. It is an appeasement of Islamic bigotry that is grotesque. The scandal of two-tiered policing can be ignored no longer." And I think this summarizes it so well, because this is almost the same system that works with blasphemy law. And let me explain. The idea with blasphemy law, or what happens to a lot of alleged blasphemers, like the Nigerian atheist Mubarak Bala, was that he was arrested for something that he said because the lawyers that filed the case against Mubarak Bala said, we have to arrest him for fear of a violent reaction from the people that he offended. So it's essentially victim blaming. For the sake of calming community tensions, we have to police you for what you are saying that is factual and honest, because we know that what you said that is factual and honest and moral is inflammatory to people that support this. So instead of policing the violent reaction that will come from the people that find that offensive, we are going to police you from saying what you see in front of your bare eyes, because what you have to say will cause offense from the people that will act violently. And instead of policing the people that act violently, we are going to stop you, because you are the one causing a reaction now by exerting your right of free speech and free expression. This is how backwards it is. This is how backwards it is. And this is what we mean by appeasement. Which actually leads me perfectly into my next rant.
Yes.
Before we move on, any final thoughts and reactions, Armin?
No, I think that was perfect. That was perfect. I just want to get in touch with him. Maybe we could have him on the show. I don't know if he would be interested in that.
Oh my God, I would love to talk to Niyak.
Yeah.
You should have him on the Persian show too.
He follows me personally on Twitter as well. I just saw.
Niyak June, I hope you see this. We love you.
Yeah. Anyways, we should go to your rant very soon. So let's do this super chat.
Okay. We got some super chats by Sarah MG. Thank you for the super chat, Sarah, saying I left my Hasidic cult community and they were and it they were it, or I think you were saying it was hard. My life wasn't in danger. Thank you for helping those in really serious, scary situations. Sarah, you're a badass. I know how extremely difficult it is to leave a high control community, and I am so proud of you. I have other friends who have left very high control Orthodox communities, and it took them a long time to build their life and skills back up. So I'm so proud of you. That is such an accomplishment because there are hundreds and thousands of people that are not as brave and as strong as you to do the same thing, even though they want to. So I hope you're really proud of yourself.
Do you know who makes the most amazing, gorgeous, and other adjectives that I can't use here on YouTube, blasphemous art ever? We do! And for some reason, we are giving it away for free. Download them now using the link in the description before we change our mind.